Hello there my music lovers, I'm Josh Audiophile Heaven and today we're having a look at Sivga SV023. Pretty uncomfortable name, but the headphones are actually quite comfortable. Now, we have a nice package for this one. It comes with pretty much everything you could need. We have the same case that Sivga brings with all of their headphones. I like this case. It has this like butt design here, I enjoy it. We also have this Sivga pouch, in which you typically find the cable and the cable adapters. We have one cable adapter from 4.4mm balanced connector to 3.5mm single-ended connector, but we also have one connector from 3.5 to 6.3mm adapter. So basically we have the adapters to connect the SV023 to pretty much everything. Here are the headphones, the Sivga SV023, pretty nice pair of headphones, very flexible. You'll notice this, but they are very flexible. Sivga is the kind of company that is quickly growing, so I think that the guys at Sennheiser and Biodynamic and Akigi and Denon and other companies should take notes of this, because this company Sivga is going to be a big danger to them. They've been releasing many headphones that have excellent price-performance ratio and they've been learning from their mistakes. Some of their older headphones, especially the entry-level ones, had this problem where they weren't quite as flexible, so they changed the design in such a way that the headphone has this pivoting mechanism. The headband has those two parts which are very springy and which help you get a good comfort with the SV023. They also have detachable cables based on the 2.5mm connector. Sivga seems to like this connector. I don't like it that much because I don't have many aftermarket cables, but they include good cables with their headphones and they usually are ended in a 4.4mm balanced connector. Those are priced at $500 US, so they compete directly with Sennheiser HD660S or Biodynamic Myron and other headphones in the price range, for example the Avant One Pro Planar, which I reviewed on the channel. SV023 is fairly comfortable. I just place them on my head and I can already forget that I'm wearing them. They have a very natural clamping force. It is not too tight, not too loose. They have a padded headband, which is quite comfortable too. You can adjust them quite a bit, and they are on the edge of being too loose for my head even at their tightest point, so you should take this into account. They have good overall design. It is an open design though, so there is no passive noise isolation. You'll hear everything that is happening around you, and people around you will hear your music quite a bit, so you won't be able to blast some death metal with them. On the other hand, they have very soft earpads, very deep earpads too, and the earpads are large enough for my ears, which are medium to large sized ears. You can wear them around your neck, they won't suffocate you. It is a good way of wearing them while you are not listening to music in an active way. And the earpads have special designs where they have textile material on the inside and they have leather on the outside. Basically everything has been taken care of. Don't need to think too much about modding those. The driver inside of the SV023 is dynamic, which doesn't necessarily make them anything, but they are designed to be extremely hard to drive. Sivga actually talked to me about this, and this is a hard to drive headphone. This is quite hard to drive, and I need to insist on this. Using the IBS or DX320, I'm able to listen to them at about 50, 55 and even 57 as far as volumes go, so they need quite a bit of power and they need a bit of power to sound good too. You won't be able to get the best sound out of the Sivga SV023 if you don't give them enough power. But there are options in the affordable range, for example the SMSL HO100, GDS Labs Atom Plus. There are quite a few amplifiers which are priced very mindfully for your wallet. Even Fio K5 Pro is able to drive them, and even portable DAC/headphone amplifiers, for example the Questyle M15 or the Lotopo S2. All of those do a very good job at driving the SV023. The sound of the SV023 is surprisingly good. While I had some complaints about the Apollo was beautiful. Apollo was a headphone that had an excellent design. It was large, it was comfortable, and it had a very mellow, very soft sound. It was incredible. But at the same time, it lacked impact and it had a pretty linear sound, which did not quite work so well with all music styles. For example, rock and metal sounded quite a bit flat and boring on the Sivga Apollo. Now the Sivga SV023 takes everything that Apollo did right and does it even better. They have a very natural mid-range, but they have better bass, better impact, and they have a better treble too. Basically, this is the headphone that sounds extremely natural and at the same time extremely revealing. It is a headphone that I really enjoy and like. I would compare it to the Avant One Pro Planar. The Avant One Pro Planar is darker, it is fuller sounding, and it has a smoother treble, while the SV023 is more natural, it is more linear, and it has a more even overall sound. It is more balanced, which works very well with rock, metal, EDM, even classical sounds a bit better on the SV023. Once again, the trick is to have enough power. They are a dynamic driver-based EM and they sound quite dynamic. Those two bits of information are not related. You don't need to be dynamic driver to sound dynamic, but they are and they do sound dynamic. They have an excellent amount of detail for their price. At least at $500 you'd expect them to be like a quarter of the quality that you get from Sivga Peacock, but that is not quite true. You get an excellent amount of detail, you get a ton of impact, and you get pretty much almost the same resolution as a Sivga Peacock or a Hi-Fi or a Stealth. You get so much resolution out of them and so much detail. But they do answer quite a bit to source, so I'm able to say all of this while using them with the iBasso DX320 or the Astellenkierne SA180. If you have an entry-level source, then they won't shine quite as much, but they will still be a very good deal. Being priced at $500 means that you don't have to pay a lot for them. You pay pretty much what you would expect to pay for a good pair of headphones, but they do perform quite a bit better than I expected. They don't deafen me with any obscene peaks or any dips that would make their sound uncomfortable, so I am never fatigued after wearing them. I can wear them for hours on end and still enjoy music, and I'm able to enjoy both male and female voices quite a lot. For example, I am able to enjoy my typical anime music with Crazy, Moricalaya, P4 Baby and such, and I'm able to also enjoy some Metallica, some older songs, some Offspring, some NoFX, or the kind of music that I typically enjoy, even grindcore, even Rings of Saturn, Kill Whitney Dead and such. I enjoy a lot of trashy music, I'll tell you that. But yeah, the Sivga SV023 is a good option. At this moment in 2022, I think that you have very few headphones that sound quite as amazing as the SV023. There are options, there are many options on the market, and each one of them goes for a different sound. I will try to compare it to more headphones in the full written review, but to give you some outlines, if I am comparing the SV023 to Sennheiser HD660S, the SV023 has a more natural overall mid-range, they have better bass and lower distortion in the bass. The HD660S has quite a bit of distortion, especially if you bring it loud. The SV023 is much better at maximum loudness. For example, if you tend to listen extremely loud, Sennheiser tends to distort, while this one doesn't distort at all. Beyerdynamica Myron is a very different option. Beyerdynamica Myron is a headphone that is quite sharp, and the treble can be quite sharp on you. It is literally deafening, especially if you listen loud. On the other hand, the SV023 brings the mid-range more forward and pulls the treble backwards compared to the Myron, which gives you a much more natural sound, and it is much easier to listen to. If you are looking for a headphone that you can enjoy, that you can listen to, that you can enjoy with music and not necessarily with tone sweeps and such, the SV023 is a better option than the Beyerdynamica Myron. There was also that headphone from Dan Clark, which I reviewed, the Ion Flow, and I would say that the SV023 is a bit better than the Ion Flow. The Ion Flow has a very U-shaped sound, so both the sub-bass and the bass are quite enhanced and uplifted above the mid-range, which is much more recessed, and then the treble is much more uplifted. Of course, you can apply filters on that sound and it can sound a bit smoother, but the SV023 is more natural and it brings the mid-range more forward, which brings every bit of information that actually is in music to you. Most of the music happens in the mid-range. Voices, guitars, pianos, pretty much every single instrument has more information in the mid-range than they have information in the bass or in the treble. In the treble there are the cymbals, and in the bass there are some drums and some bass guitars. At the end of the day, the SV023 is an excellent option. They have an excellent price point. At $500 they enter the market right in the middle of the action, and I hope they will be a good option for you if you decide to go for them. I also hope that my video has been enjoyable to watch. I hope you'll consider subscribing to Audiophile Heaven. Also leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Please don't forget you can donate if you want to support my channel and my work. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope we'll see each other really soon. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.